What's going on, everyone? Today we're going to be talking about a taboo in our society, and that is the taboo of necrophilia, which is the sexual acts performed with dead bodies. So when you typically think of necrophiles, you think of men defiling the bodies of dead women. You think of guys like Edmund Kemper or Ted Bundy. But today, you don't really think of women defiling the bodies of men. And it turns out that among necrophiles, 10% are actually women. Today, we're going to be talking about one such woman, and that is Karen Greenlee. Karen Greenlee worked at the Memorial Lawn Mortuary in Sacramento, California. And on December 17th in 1979, she was supposed to drive the body of 33-year-old John McCure to his gravesite. He was a suicide victim who killed himself about a week before he was supposed to be buried. And when she got to the cemetery and saw his loved ones there getting ready to lay him to rest, something came over her, and she took the 1975 Cadillac hearse that she was driving with the body inside, turned it around, and she drove away from the cemetery and went missing for days. Days later, they found her in the hearse with a 4.5-page note, and she was unresponsive because she had tried to commit suicide by overdosing on Tylenol and codeine. In the note, she described herself as a morgue rat. She said she expressed sorrow for what she had done, and she said that she felt sorry looking at the families of the dead men that she had sex with. She said that it was her rat hole and maybe her grave, that it was kind of like eating at her on the inside. Years later, she did give an interview called The Unrepentant Necrophile, in which she changed her tune. She no longer felt this sorrow for her actions. She no longer felt that it was something wrong that she was doing. She actually came to terms with it and said that the more people spoke against it, the more it made her appreciate what she was doing and made her feel that she was doing the right thing, that she was doing no wrong with it. So she gave this interview, and in this interview, she said that she loved the aura and smell of dead bodies, especially freshly embalmed dead bodies. When people asked how she could perform such acts with dead men, she said that it's a misconception that penetration is needed for gratification. She said that wasn't needed, and that a woman's most sensitive parts are on the front of her body, so she would gratify herself in these ways. And when they asked about the smell of dead bodies, again, she said that freshly embalmed corpses were a turn-on to her. Not rotted smells or burned victims, things like that, she said, did not turn her on. She loved the freshly dead embalmed smell, that it was a big turn-on for her, the aura of it. So she again became unrepentant of her actions. She went on to say that she was happy about doing it. The family of John McCure, the victim who she was driving to the cemetery that day on December 17th, did sue her and the mortuary for $1 million. They only got $117,000 out of the settlement. Karen Greenlee, for her crimes, only paid $255 in fines and did 11 days in jail, because California at the time didn't have any laws against necrophilia. So she also said that necrophilia was very prevalent in funeral homes and mortuaries. She said that it happens a lot more than people think. People have this misconception that their loved ones are in good hands, that they're being taken care of, and that, you know, they're driven to their final resting place, and it's a very professional looking atmosphere. But she said behind all that, there is the act of necrophilia that is actually very rampant in these places, which really does make you think what happens when we die, or when our loved ones are in these places with people that we don't know, people who come out with suits and ties and look very professional and talk to people in very somber ways, expressing their sympathies. But behind the scenes, they could be doing the very things that Karen Greenlee was doing to, as she said, about 20 to 40 dead young men. Karen Greenlee has since changed her name and her location, and these things are, her whereabouts are unknown today. She has never, she regretted giving the interview. She regretted giving all the details about herself and her new convictions and attitudes towards necrophilia. But she has never apologized for it since, and has just changed her name and location. So, as I said, necrophilia is probably at the top of the list of taboos when it comes to, the despicable acts that people could think of, and probably for good reason. Necrophilia is the act of defiling the dead against their wishes, obviously. They have no say in the matter. And it also violates the trust of the loved ones of the dead and those who entrust the funeral homes and directors to do the right thing with their loved ones before they're laid to rest in their final space. So that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you liked this one. Have you ever heard about this case? If you did, why don't you comment, let me know about it, and let me know if there's any others that you would like me to touch on. So with that, please do like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And I will see you in the next one. Stay slashing.